So when we are, you might have noticed this, that especially in Taraweeh prayers, when the Imam is reciting Qur'an, at certain verses you see people around you, they say something. They say something. So you are probably wondering, why are they saying something, and what are they saying, and why do they do that? So the thing here is that there are certain verses, if you hear them, you're supposed to say something in return. You have to reply to these verses. So what are these verses, and when should we do it? And it is mentioned in Sahih Muslim as well that it is sunnah for the reciter to say certain dhikr while reciting it. So what are those dhikr? And so basically this applies to both, whether you are in salah or you are outside the salah. Both cases, there are certain verses where you have to reply. And so what are these verses? For example, you have verses of tasbih or glorification. You have, for example, Sabbih isma rabbikal a'la. What does it mean? Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High. So Allah is telling us to glorify. So you say Subhana Rabbiyal A'la or Subhanallah, something like that. That is a lot. And also you have verse of supplication, verse of dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you, make dua to me. Make dua to me. For example, he said in Nahl, فَدُعُوهُ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. So invoke him, making your worship purely for him. So you make dua to them, رَبَّنَا أَتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً, whatever dua that you want. So this is the practice from the sunnah. And also verses of refuge as well. We mentioned that last time as well, right? From Surah An-Nahl, that فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. So whenever you listen to that, you immediately say أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. I have to seek refuge from shaitan, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take his refuge. And also you see many different kinds of verses. If you have a little idea about some common words, Rahman, Ghafur, Ghaffar, things like that, asking for forgiveness, asking for mercy, you make up that. The scholars, however, said, can we do that in fard prayers? Taraweeh prayers, sunnah prayers, you can do, no problem. All scholars say it's fine. But fard prayers, some scholars had reservations from that, because they said that this is not directly reported from any Sahaba. But sunnah prayers, they have this from evidences. And in fact, there is this hadith from Sahih Muslim, narrated by Muhammad Hudayfa radiallahu anhu. So what happened was that one time he saw Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam praying salah at night. So he said, why don't I just join him? I'll make salah with him in congregation. Two of them recited. So when he started the recitation, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he started with Surah Al-Baqarah. So he thought that maybe he will read like 100 verses and then he'll go to ruku. So he waited for 100 verses and he's not stopping. He continued. Then he thought maybe he'll finish Surah Al-Baqarah and then he'll go to ruku. He finished Surah Al-Baqarah and then he started Surah An-Nisa, number 4. And then he completed Surah An-Nisa, and then he thought, okay, now he will finish. But he went to Surah number 3, Ali Imran, and he completed that as well. Then he was standing all the time, and if you just imagine, these are approximately like 5 juz, 5.5. So might take about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. And what he said in the hadith is that whenever Prophet Muhammad is not only reciting this long time, but whenever he reached a verse of glorification, he would stop and he would glorify Allah. And then whenever he came upon a verse of supplication, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And also same thing about taking refuge in Allah. So that's we have this authentic hadith from Sahih Muslim, so we know this. But it was a nafil prayer, so the scholar said that it's okay. Imam Malik and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they said that it is okay, you can even do in fard prayer, because their argument was that it is not foreign to salah, you can do it as long as you're doing it in Arabic, that's fine. But just to let you know, there are differences of opinion. But Nafil and Sunnah prayers, you can always do it, no problem at all. Hmm? Yeah. You can, yeah, you can. One more thing. Actually, I also heard this. Surah At-Tin. When people recite "Alayhi Sallahu bi ahkamil hakimin," you'll hear people say "Subhanak fabala." So they have a hadith for it, but it's not like it doesn't have a lot of strength. Some scholars said it's okay, you can do it that as well. Basically, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is saying, "Is not Allah the best of judges?" So it stops right at there, like finished of surah. So some people say that okay, we have to say yes, most certainly exalted are you, Allah. So things like that.